Welcome to
Tamarindo Podcast.
Hosted by me, Brenda Gonzalez, a fitness coach, political nerd, and nonprofit capacity builder.
And me, Delsy Sandoval, a Guatemalan-American licensed therapist and passionate creativity advocate. Together, we're here to uplift our community through powerful conversations with changemakers, creatives, and healers.
Each week on the pod, we talk politics, culture, and personal development. Listeners call Tamarindo the Advocacy and Self-Love Podcast. Vámonos!
Let's start the show!
On this episode, we talk to Rocio Medina van Nierop, a trailblazing figure in the tech industry, serving as the CEO and co-founder of Latinas in Tech, where she leads efforts to connect, support, and empower Latina women in the tech sector. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome to Tamarindo, Rocio van Nierop. It's so nice to have you here. How you doing?
Hi, Delsy. Thank you so much. I'm very well.
I'm excited to speak with you. There's so much to learn here. I imagine the people that are listening are just as excited as me. Let's get started. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe you can share a little bit about your personal journey in tech and maybe what inspired you to co-found Latinas in Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in tech since 2005. And back in 2005, there weren't that many Latinas working in tech or Latinos whatsoever. And there were a few others that were the same. There was single Latino in a company. And back in the early 2000s, the big tech companies started to venture into newer markets outside the US, the English US. And they would hire people like myself that were experienced marketers, international marketing, that were able to lead expansion. So see it as a startup inside another startup where we would, open up a legal entity, hire people, do the marketing, hire salespeople, translate the product, do, regulations, taxes, a lot of legal and compliance. So it was a big role that required a lot of knowledge about our market. So that's how Latinas in Tech started, by people within those type of groups of different companies. And many of us were women. And it wasn't that common to see another Latino, let alone a Latina. So we started getting together to exchange notes and exchange opportunities, like what payment methods do you use in Mexico, or Boleto in Brazil, or communications agency, or co-working spaces. So that's how we started. And then that group started growing and growing. More companies started having their own Latin and international teams. And that's really how it started. But then it didn't limit itself for only international marketing or sales or communications. It went into development, engineering, anything that what a Latino had as a role in a tech company, or a tech role of a Latino in a traditional traditional company like retail, for example.
Okay, so it sounds like you saw an opportunity to say, what if we got together and provided some of the ladders and the support and the information necessary to bring on board more Latin representation, specifically Latina representation in tech? I'd love to hear a little bit about what you find to be maybe some of the contributing factors for this underrepresentation in the industry.
Well, there is always a little bit of an unconscious, not a little bit, an unconscious bias or very conscious bias, where you think that only people that are American can sell to Americans. That, like, if you sell apples to Mexicans, you cannot sell apples to Americans, and that's not the case. If you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur anywhere. If you're an expert on something, you shouldn't be, they shouldn't box you into you can only sell to Latinos. So it was difficult to do that crossover for a lot of people, but it really was that, I think that opportunity of our Latinidad that welcomed us into the tech industry, and then it was our job, I call it La Caballa de Troya. It was our Troy horse where we could enter and open more doors to many more Latinas and Latinos.
Yeah, tell us about that initial dream. When you first started having the conversations and you were thinking of building this, what was the initial idea for how you might aim to address these challenges in the tech industry?
Well, I mean, there wasn't an initial idea because there wasn't an initial purpose, like what is the problem we're trying to tackle. It was a need that we had of exchanging information, of it was like our safe spot where we could share what we were going through and highlight. It was always very positive. It wasn't like, oh my God, I feel so bad. It was more like, okay, I have this challenge. How do I break into this challenge? You have done this 2 years before me in Colombia. Like it was a very friendly group in that regard. Like there was no competition or self of, oh, I have that market first and you compete with me a little bit. No, there was a lot of helping each other. And it was by seeing the traction that we had that we could see the necessity. So we were, I think, rather than an idea or a startup, it was a necessity. It was a need that we were happened to be fulfilling. So the more people that came, we could see that we were onto something. So we went from tens to hundreds to thousands, and today we've touched the lives of over 30,000.
Wow, let's talk
Yeah.
about those 30,000. Tell me a little bit about some of the folks that are a part of Latinas in Tech. What do you see in them?
Yeah, so the vast majority of them are in the US. I mean, we were born in Silicon Valley, but now they are located anywhere in the US. We have 20. Man, I struggle telling you how many chapters we have because we had 21, but I think that at this very moment today, we're 23, and we might be opening a new one in the coming days. The new ones are San Diego. Man, I don't even know. They're going so fast. I need to check my emails because they are like literally opening right now. But I know that definitely San Diego is one. And we have 7 countries where our chapters are located. And is really cool because we started being Latinas in Tech is like Latinas are people from Latin America that are female that live in the US at first. And then we opened Mexico. And of course, in that case, it was a matter of gender rather than a matter of where you're from. And then the next one that we opened was, internationally, was Canada. It's a little similar to the US than London and Dublin, but then Madrid and actually the next one is not Spanish speaking, it's Portuguese, Sao Paulo, but they're still also brasileiras in their own countries, right? So the objectives of each chapter, even if they're in the US, the goals can be different from Sacramento to New York to Washington to Silicon Valley. So there is a lot of freedom to our chapters to be able to still row in the same direction as headquarters, but customize it for the needs of their local Latinas.
What do you think it is, Rocio, that has contributed to this massive growth? What are those initiatives, those key strategies that you've built in?
Well, I mean, I want to give myself all the credit that I can, right? But the truth is that Latinos are a third of the population. It's only natural that we're many. In fact, I still think we're nothing compared to what we should be. So we are almost a third of the population of the US, but yet we're only 2% of the employees in tech. And from those, we're still stuck at the bottom. So our big number is just a representation of how many we are of a underrepresented group still. So we are working really hard on changing that. So we have a very large market participation in terms of the number of Latinas that exist in the US that work in tech. So almost like around 40% of them have been touched by Latinas in tech one way or another. But again, this is still 2%. So it needs to be more. I mean, if we're 30%, how many should we be?
Yeah, I mean, what that makes me think about is that this isn't a pipeline issue, right? We have folks that are in the field. It's a matter of finding them positions.
You
Maybe
said it exactly right. It's not a pipeline issue. I mean, we wish that pipeline was massive for sure. We wish that more and more Latinos graduate from STEM careers, absolutely. But that doesn't mean we're not knocking on doors, that we're not wanting to be promoted. And the problem of invisibility is a big, real problem. And that's what we need to change. And in order to change it, companies need to be intentional in their hiring. This is not a conversation on diversity; it's a conversation on visibility, and so white man blue eyes that went to white man blue eye school, that has white man blue eye group of friends on a network that wear the same suits, the same ties. Who do they know? They only know each other. So whenever you're in a monolithic group, and if I ask you, well, hire one of your friends, how are they going to look? Are they going to look Black? Probably not. So in diversity, a lot of people get confused by, okay, in order to get diversity, I need to lower the bar. And that's absolutely the wrong way of looking at things. It's because of the invisibility. What you need to do is open your eyes and see that without lowering the bar, there's a lot more people that you just don't see. So it's not a problem of the pipeline. It's an optics problem.
How would you say that Latinas in tech is kind of working to combat this optics problem?
Well, we'll try to open those eyes. So many companies think that it's impossible, that they come like that in blue eyes, blonde hair, white men, because that's what it's outside. And we are there to show them that that's not the case. And maybe at first we need to take them by the hand to show them what is really out there. They need to want it. And we try to, and we have hundreds and thousands of jobs that are open in our site. We promote leadership roles. We promote really good jobs where Latinas can truly work their way up. So upward mobility. So it's not only being hired, but also upward mobility, being promoted, growing, and being a jefa, because we need that caballa de Troya, as I call it, that she's the hiring manager that opens up the door to others, and it's a natural opening the door. It's not about races that I'm a Latina, I hire Latinas. No, but if you tamper into my network, then you're actually hiring my network too. My network of people with very high skills. So we're not like a lot of people many years ago, they hear Latina, they hear the service providers, but we're doctors, we're masters, we're innovators, we're programmers, we're creators. And people need to take that out from their mind and remove that label that unconsciously they put on people.
One of the things that I find really interesting about your process is that there's quite a few opportunities for mentorship and professional development as sort of a crucial aspect of your mission. Can you discuss maybe some of the programs, some of the initiatives that help create this kind of safe space environment?
Yeah. So the safe space environment was created. That was the first thing, right? Our meetups, where it's a safe space where you have other Latinas and you can network and you can express your happy moments, your challenges, your opportunities, and meet each other. It is really through those spaces that Latinas can find their friends, their mentors, their sponsors, their new bosses, their new employees. So that safe space that you talk about, our core. But then we created additional intentional spaces. For example, mentorship. We've seen it through our research that if you have a mentor, you your chances of being promoted and earning more equal, like more a fair wage, are higher. Having a mentor also enables people to be sponsors if they happen in your same company. So we created a mentorship program that uses artificial intelligence to pair Latinas with mentors. And those mentors mostly are other Latinas in other companies with more experience, but they can also be allies and people that are not Latinas at all or Latinos at all. We have an executive development program, and it's because many of us want to be promoted. We're exceeding our goals, but we are lacking the aggressiveness, as some people would see it, of asking for it. And sometimes we think it's too premature to ask when we're overdue of an ask, and when other people are doing it and we're missing out. So if we were to just That's an easy fix. Just go ask, because you already have the no, and I can carry the no forever. So we need to get out of our comfort zone and ask, and that's easier said than done. That's why we have that program where we try to tackle problems that are inherent to our Latinidad that we can overpass, and we don't give them the recipe, but we allow the spaces for conversation, so that we put them situations and we let them discuss on how they would counteract that situation that happened at work. So, you know, stereotypes that your colleagues might fall into, how do you navigate through them? Because many times the way you navigate an aggression or just an uncomfortable situation can make or break the conclusion and the consequence. So we have that, and also we focus on people that have growth potential and that are prevented of growth by some reason. So we try to figure it out, and we partner with the companies and the employee resource groups to detect what people it is and work with them really hard to enable that growth. And if they're already there, it's because the company already detected and wants to make them grow. So that's great. So we have the summit, which is coming up. I invite you all to come. It's May 16 and 17 at the Palace of Fine Arts. First day is live, second day is online. It's virtual, so that anybody anywhere in the world can join. And that brings the best minds in tech. And we are going to have a lot of artificial intelligence do's and don'ts. Not do, it's more mainly do's. It's not about all the threats and regulations. I mean, they are real, but we're going to take advantage when people are distracted in those things. And we're going to talk about how we are going to be the innovators on it and opening the doors to more Latinas to innovate in that. So that's another program. And we have a lot of programs for job, lead recruit. So events where we connect recruiters to Latinas in a fun, like if it's live in like a cocktail party, kind of speed dating with recruiters. But then online, we have also a similar speed networking scenario. So what you need is just get in front of the people. They just need to discover you. So we enable those with amazing tech companies. And there's many more.
Rocio, what would you say, especially when you're developing the opportunities and you're speaking to these employers, what would you say is the benefit of diversifying the tech industry? What do they get when they get Latinas in tech?
You know, if you had asked me that question last year or before, the conversation is about diversity. It's about why is it important for a company to have diversity? And it's proven by research. Bain or McKinsey, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one of both, released a report last year that shows how much more profitable a diverse company can be, specifically in entrepreneurship. But of course, if you create a product, imagine AI, and it's programmed by a monolithic group, that product is not going to be good enough. It's not going to read people the same way. It's not going to learn all their material as they should, because the machine learns from their creators. So if the creators is a homogeneous group, it's a group that has diversity, then it's a better product. Now, I said last year, I would have said that. This year, though, as a Latina, the conversation is different. It's not a matter of let's be diverse. Let's do a product that serves everybody. This is the thing. Latinos and the Latino community in the US is so powerful by now. So powerful. It's too late not to notice and not to focus on it. We are going to be a third of the population. We're the youth. We're the voters. We're the buyers. We hold $3.2 trillion of the economy. There's no way to erase us. We're legal. We're American. We're decision makers. So even if you don't have us at the decision-making table, we're still your buyer. If you were to remove Latinas today, the US would fall in the deepest recession they would face. If you want to still capitalize on American citizens, you need the Latino buyer. Target, Meta, many tech companies have as a primary buyer the Latino community. I'm not going to say all of them, but many of them. Multimedia, who goes to the movies the most? Who plays video games? Like, they want our dinero, but they are not employing us. So this is not a question of what is the human thing to do. This is a business thing to do. We're talking dinero, we're talking profits. So if you don't pay attention, you're going to be missing out very soon. So we need Latinos and Latinas in board of directors tables. We need them taking decisions at the top if you want to profit from our market. Otherwise, you're going to be eaten by the competitors. So the conversation changed a tiny bit.
Ah, that's really interesting. I love how you put it, and it's so empowering to hear. I'm curious for you, in the time that you've been working on Latinas in Tech, what has been the progress that you feel has been made, if any, and what initiatives are you most excited about for the future?
So I believe that we have witnessed and been part of the evolution of the conversation of diversity in tech. And as I said, that was up until last year, where we talk about why is it important to include us. But now, like last year, the summit always holds our theme that it tells you about where the conversation is going. And it's been like inclusion, diversity, inclusion with purpose, and then let's get loud. Now, last year it was let's get loud, because it's not about you, the company, it's about us, because we're already there. And we're still 30,000, like it's not a tiny little number, even if it's a little percentage. But let me show you what amazing things we're doing. We're going to get loud. We're not going to be the quiet Latina that doesn't speak up. Now we're going to speak up. And customers, like, does it make sense to put your money all the time in a place that is not doing good for your community? Like, do you still want to buy from a company that is based in Silicon Valley, where almost no more than half of the citizens in that city are Latinos, but yet less than 1% are in the decision-making table? Is this where you want to put your money? Like, companies need to worry about that thinking. So now that was a conversation last year. We're past that. We're past that. Now the conversation is about you, business person. Do you still want to make money? Okay, while you figure that out, we are innovating. So this is where Latinas in Tech is. That's what keeps me up at night. That's what gets me excited, because we're moving from buyers to makers of technology. So while people are thinking about the getting worried about artificial intelligence and regulations, we're learning the engine, we're learning the innovation, and we're gonna come back with products that we're leading. So mark my words. So that's what keeps me excited.
For those folks that are listening, going, you know what, I am a Latina in tech, or maybe I'm somebody who is fascinated by what's going on with new technology and the possibilities that AI can offer the world, and particularly in the medical field and all of these different industries that could be life-changing. And they want to know how to get involved. How can they get involved with Latinas in tech? How can they break into the tech industry?
Thank you. That's a good question. And that's actually, it's a multi-level question. So how can you get involved with Latinas in Tech? So if you already work in the tech industry and you're a Latina, register latinasintech.org. All of our programs are for free. Now, if you're an ally, please do to come to us, because we need you. Like, there was a person that opened the door to the Troy horse. There was a person that is there to advocate for us, gives us security, allows us to keep shining and not deviate, to educate others whenever a remark has been made. We need allies, and allies can be mentors. Now, if you want to be a chapter leader, you can be the leader of many Latinas and open those doors for them at a massive level. So at this moment, we have about 140 chapter leaders in the 23 different chapters. So if you have not connected to your chapter, reach out to Latinas in Tech, take a look at our website. You can see all of the chapters that we have. And if we don't have one and you would like to start one, reach out to us. And that's how we start all the chapters, by initiative of the people.
Thank you so much, Rocio, for your time and for sharing this information with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. And if you want to be part of our movement, please feel free. We'll be super happy to have you and reach us.
I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And Brenda, what I really enjoyed about connecting with Rocio was just the strength that she brings to this environment. When you talk to her about what Latinas are doing in tech, it's infectious, the excitement that she has. This idea that Latinas are no longer just buying or contributing to being consumers of technology, but are starting to create the technology and really being a part of it. And I think the second takeaway for me was that this isn't a pipeline issue, that representation in tech is not a matter of not having the talent,
but more so a matter of not being linked into a network. And so creating this network is such a fantastic idea. So if you're listening, I hope that you get involved with Latinas in Tech.
Yeah, I think that's great. And if you're ever in a position to hire a Latina in tech, think about that. Think about your graphic designers. Are they Latinas? Think about your web developer. Are they Latinas? Ask those questions. I love it. I love it. All right, time for our matracas, basuras, etc. What is your matraca?
Yes, I want to talk about Measure HLA. If you're listening outside of California, I want to talk a little bit about it. So Measure HLA requires Los Angeles to kind of re-engineer some of the region's most populated boulevards. This is going to reduce traffic lanes. It's going to build more space for bicyclists, for buses, and most of all, it's going to help create protections for pedestrians. This is a big deal because this is a very car-centric city, and it's very difficult to get around if you decide to walk. And for me, being so used to a New York lifestyle, I've tried to, take the metro and walk and take buses, and so it's not easy. And so I think that this is going to encourage more of that and allow us to have a more balanced kind of lifestyle in LA.
Yes, matraca to that. I definitely voted for it. I want to give a special matraca to my city council rep, Eunices Hernandez, for championing this. Yes, we definitely need to make our roads safer. As someone who loves to walk and also take public transportation and also ride my bike, it is scary out there. And it's literally like people's lives are at stake, so we really need to do something. And I hope it's the start of more. I think it's like the very few people that did vote. For the few people that came out to vote, they're sending a message, and that is that we need safer roads. And I think that's a wonderful matraca. I love that. My matraca is, in addition to seconding yours, I have to give some love to my frother. I don't know if I've given this love before, but it's changed my life. So I bought this little frother that it's like an instant little thing that you pour a little bit of milk and it like makes the foam, and it has saved me so much money. It has saved me like $6 a day, because truly what I was paying for when I go get my decaf latte, because I'm trying to reduce my caffeine, is like the foam, right? So if I can get my warm little foam at home, y'all, this is life-changing. I spent, I think, $30 on this. And every day it gives me joy. I did learn, here's a tip. I did learn that almond milk makes it froth like out of control. So oat milk performed a little better for my lactose intolerant amiguis out there.
So many of us.
So many of us. I know, and I know Anna Shayla, who is a contributor to this podcast in the past, has thrown in la basura the fact that we get charged $1 every time we ask for alternative milk. That is so rude. It is so rude.
So rude. I'm excited. I want to try this coffee. So next time I'm going to ask you, next time I come over.
Yes, absolutely. I will froth some milk for you. So. Now, what goes in la basura for you?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, so la basura for me, I don't know if you all have been following what's going on in Texas, but they have had the largest fire in Texas history. This blaze has killed livestock, it's killed people, it's destroyed thousands of acres of land and hundreds of homes. And it sounds like this is a result of an energy company sort of neglect. And those are the allegations, right? There's no way to know just yet. But this is something that has been a problem for some time, contributing to, if you remember, wildfires in Maui and here in California. So I think it's time that we really pass some kind of measure that is going to make it a lot more difficult for these companies to skip out on some of these security guidelines. So basura to companies that are irresponsible with our environment. Basura.
Mm-hmm. Big time basura. Well, my basura is kind of like to this energy, I suppose. So as I mentioned, my little wine cult group, where we have this very active text group, and last time when Biden ran for president, I mean, we were like so energized. Not that we loved him, but we were like, let's not get Trump elected. We were so about the election and just like really still fueled from the anger that we had when we had Trump as a president. And I still remember, we know we didn't know the results right away, right? It took a little bit later. But when we did know the results, I remember the joy, the great weight that was lifted, and just thinking, thank God that orange Cheeto is not our president. And it's just really frustrating to feel that now, 4 years later, I feel myself locking my jaw, right? I feel myself feeling tense. A lot of the same feelings that I had those 4 years under Trump. And I'm feeling that a little bit towards Biden. And I know we don't all, I have never loved Biden, but for me, it was about what it represents to elect someone that at least is sort of receptive to a lot of the issues, and definitely is not out there reversing the rights for trans people, for people that need abortions. There's a lot of differences. It's just incredibly frustrating that we're here again and we have to reluctantly hold our nose to this president, and he's not making it easy. So I would say that my basura is just to like the icky feeling that we're all going to feel now and through November. And no matter who wins, it sounds like we're still going to have some major problems. And it's really, really sad. So that's my basura. Nothing inspirational out of that, just more frustration.
I mean, I think what it says to me is that it's time for more people to get involved in politics, right? It sounds like we really need some folks to step up and be an option here. And the fact that we don't have any options, I think, is a symptom of maybe not having enough representation in Congress. So if that's something that suits you and you're interested, there are lots of orgs out there that help prepare people for careers in politics. So more power to
we
you.
need you. We need you.
We need you. We need you.
Now, to counter all that, what's your inspiración?
Okay, I want to go back to talking about Madonna if I can.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that was really amazing that she said yesterday in this concert was, you know, that all of this controversy that has surrounded her career for so long, right? Controversy with the Catholic Church and controversy with all kinds of things, specifically sexuality, right? And yet what she found to be the most controversial so far has just been the fact that she has aged and that she continues to have a career in the spotlight as a woman who is aging in front of the camera, right? And she's like, the most controversial thing I've done is stick around. And it was just so empowering to hear, especially for people who are in creative fields, to think about the longevity of being able to stick around. And it's true, if you think about who Madonna's peers were, right? Prince and, you know, Tupac and Keith Haring and all of these people that we know, Michael Jackson, Madonna is still here. Right. And there is something to that, pop culture wise and really influencing so many generations of people. And one thing I realized at this concert was that it was a really diverse room. All kinds of people were represented and really inspired and dressed up, and the mood was really exciting. So that is really inspiring to me.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it that the most controversial thing that Madonna has done is that she's still around.
Yeah.
And that she dares to be a woman, an older woman that's doing things. What better inspiration is there to that? Matracas and inspiración, whatever, all of that to Madonna and her legendary career.
Brenda,
maybe I'll do that. I think that, man, that's so great. I'm going to say, wow, I wish I had said yes to going to Madonna, and amazing that you got to go. I would say maybe today we're recording on International Women's Day, and it's just so wonderful to like get all those congratulations because we are all doing the damn thing. So felicidades to all of you. This is your month. This is your day, even if you're listening to this not on March 8th. Just keep on daring to continue to exist everywhere you are. I love that. I love that. So with that, Tamarindo listeners, pon tu suéter.
Y saludos a la familia.
Tamarindo Podcast is Brenda Gonzalez and Delsy Sandoval. We are also the show's executive producers. Karina Riveroll of Sonoro Media provides production support. Jeff Ricards wrote our theme song. The best way to support our work is to rate and review Tamarindo Podcast or share an episode with a friend. Get in touch with us at tamarindopodcast.com.